Hi, everyone. My name is Sean O'Kane with ChipEstimate TV. We're here at the TSMC OIP with Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Brian Fuller. Now, Brian and I have been walking around doing interviews and gathering information about the forum this year. Some of the things that came up for example, my conversation with Suk Lee.
Thanks for inviting me to that, by the way. I love that guy, and
Right.
I had a conflict. I couldn't come, so thanks.
Yeah. Well, we went down to the Marriott bar, had some drinks, and he gave me the whole secret sauce for the 16 nanometer FinFET technology.
Scoop.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, what he said, and I found it was interesting, he said 90% of the attendees last year, well, I'm just talking about, how people digest all this information. He says 90% of the attendees last year said it really helped them. This forum helped them better understand the components of the OIP forum, which was pretty darn impressive, don't you think?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you have the ecosystem. You can't develop a chip today. You can't develop a system on chip today without this ecosystem. OIP is a place where you can see the ecosystem in action with all the partners, EDA, IP, Foundry, etc.
And then the chairman mentioned the Grand Alliance. And how does that work into the overall OIP? How does it go deeper?
Well, I think what he's saying there is, yes, we here in the Silicon Valley and the silicon business, broadly speaking, are the enablers of the downstream technologies that you have in your phone, industrial control, so on and so forth. So the Grand Alliance that he envisions includes those customers, right? The Apples, the Samsungs, whoever, right. Honeywell.
Right. And then speaking with Cadence, we did a couple of interviews with Cadence, for example, and they say they're locked and loaded with TSMC at 28 and 16.
Right.
That's pretty cool. That's great.
Right. A couple of presentations today. I sat in on Paul Cunningham's 16 nanometer, what's going on there with resistance and capacitance issues. How do you deal with that in the FinFET world today that we're going into? Because it's obviously non-trivial. Yeah,
and well, Paul said I think they are addressing the challenges at 16 nanometer for place and route, and they really got it ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that struck me in the morning session, I listened in on the TSMC CTO, Jack Sun. They're hurtling at 100 miles an hour down this road, and it's like trying to optimize a plane going through the air, right? Because you have the challenges of Moore's law. Is that going to run out of steam here pretty soon? They're dealing with 20 nanometer SoCs, which are in production, 16 nanometer, which is going to go to risk production in the fourth quarter. And then down the road, there's this whole concept of the silicon on wafer super chip, right? That's all being driven by mobile device design because it's got to be small, highly functional, and power aware. And that's an enormous challenge. I can't even begin to understand how they do it.
Well, okay, that's pretty good so far, and the day's 3/4 of the way through, over 3/4 of the way done. Cocktail hour is
nigh.
Is nigh, and I understand that you've been eating your Wheaties.
I have been eating my Wheaties, and you can tell because
our
relationship has just changed overnight.
Well, ask me what the most common question people ask me about my height.
Ask you,
yes.
Sean O'Kane? Sean, what's the most common question people ask you about your height?
People say, do you play basketball? So you can say that.
Hey, Sean.
Yes.
Here's a question I've always pondered.
All right.
You play basketball?
Do you play miniature golf?
I do.
Okay.
And I'm excellent at it.
I mean,
excellent.
I think we're done.
Well, we're done in more ways than one.
Okay. We'll see you next time. ChipEstimate TV.